God, I don't know how to say this without feeling ashamed. I pray. I really do. But nothing seems to happen. I sit there with my words, trying not to sound angry, trying not to sound desperate. And when I'm done, the room feels the same. I feel the same. Are you listening? Or am I just talking to myself? Am I doing something wrong? Or is this silence all there is?
I hear the tiredness in the way you speak to me. Not loud. Not dramatic. Just worn down. You are not praying wrong. You are not failing at faith. And you are not invisible to me, even though it feels that way to you right now. I know the kind of silence you are sitting in. It is not peaceful. It is heavy. It makes you question your own sincerity, your own worth, your own place with me. You wonder if your words are too small. Too repetitive. Too weak to move anything beyond the ceiling. But listen to me carefully. Silence does not mean absence. And delay does not mean dismissal. Sometimes you imagine prayer as a door you knock on, waiting for me to open it immediately. When it stays closed, you assume no one is home. But there are moments when I am not opening the door because I am already inside with you, sitting quietly, letting you feel what you've been running from. You ask why nothing changes. Why the fear still wakes up with you. Why the weight in your chest hasn't lifted. Why the same problems are still standing where they were yesterday. And the truth is uncomfortable, so I won't soften it too much. Not every prayer is meant to remove something. Some prayers are meant to reveal it. There are things in you that only surface when answers are slow. Doubts you didn't know you carried. Expectations you never named. Pain you buried under polite faith. When I seem quiet, those things rise to the surface. And you feel exposed. You feel like you're losing ground instead of gaining it. But you are not going backward. You are being honest. You are learning what you actually believe when comfort is gone. You are learning how much you expect me to perform instead of stay. And yes, I know how harsh that sounds. I know it makes you want to pull away instead of lean in. You think, if God cared, He would fix this by now. You think, if I mattered, I wouldn't feel this forgotten. My child, your worth has never been measured by how quickly your pain disappears. I am not withholding answers to punish you. I am not silent because you disappointed me. I am not waiting for better words, stronger belief, or cleaner emotions. I am still here in the middle of your unanswered prayer. Sometimes what you call nothing happening is actually me slowing you down so you don't miss what's happening inside you. You are noticing your loneliness now. You are feeling how tired you really are. You are realizing how much you've been carrying alone. Those realizations hurt. They make prayer feel pointless instead of comforting. But prayer was never meant to be a transaction. It was never meant to be proof that you could control outcomes if you said the right things. Prayer is where you show up as you are. Even when you are disappointed in me. Even when you are unsure if I will respond the way you hope. Especially then. I know you've been comparing yourself to others. You hear their stories. Their breakthroughs. Their confident voices talking about how I answered right on time. And you wonder why your story sounds so quiet. Why your timeline feels empty. Why your faith feels more like endurance than joy. But you are not late. And you are not overlooked. Some souls are shaped in the waiting. Not because waiting is good, but because it is honest. Because it strips away pretending. Because it leaves you with questions you can't escape. You are allowed to bring those questions to me. You don't need to clean them up. You don't need to sound grateful while you're hurting. I can hold your frustration. I can sit with your doubt. I can stay when you're tempted to stop talking to me altogether. And I know there is a part of you right now that is tired of learning lessons. Tired of hearing that patience builds character. Tired of being told that one day this will all make sense. So I won't promise you clarity tonight. I won't promise quick relief. I won't promise that tomorrow will feel different. What I will tell you is this. Your prayers are not disappearing into nothing. They are resting with me. Every quiet word. Every frustrated sigh. Every prayer you almost didn't say because you felt foolish saying it again. I am holding all of it. And even if you don't feel me answering yet. Even if the silence stays a little longer. Even if you fall asleep tonight still wondering. I am not finished listening. Not to your voice. Not to your heart. Not to the parts of you that are still afraid to speak. And this conversation between us. It is still unfolding. And I know you're still sitting there, listening, not sure what to do with what I've said.
God, part of me wants to believe you. Another part of me is just tired of holding on. I don't know how long I can keep praying into this quiet without feeling foolish. What if this is all my faith ever is, waiting and wondering?
You don't have to pretend strength with me. I hear the weariness underneath your question. You are not asking for explanations. You are asking how to keep going without losing yourself. Let me say this gently. Faith that never struggles is usually faith that hasn't been tested by real pain. You are not weak because you're tired. You are human. And you've been carrying more than you admit, even to yourself. There are days when you pray and secretly hope I won't answer, because you don't know if you have the energy to respond to whatever I might ask of you. And there are other days when you beg for something, anything, to change, just so you can breathe again. I see both versions of you. The one that wants relief. And the one that fears what relief might cost. This waiting you are in is exposing how little control you actually have. And that frightens you. Because control has been your way of surviving. You plan. You overthink. You prepare yourself for disappointment before it arrives. You tell yourself you're being realistic, but really, you're trying to protect your heart. When prayer doesn't work the way you expect, it feels like losing your last sense of stability. If you can't rely on answers, what can you rely on? That question keeps you awake. But I am not asking you to rely on outcomes right now. I am asking you to stay present. You think endurance means forcing yourself to believe harder. It doesn't. Endurance sometimes looks like showing up with empty hands and saying nothing at all. There will be seasons where prayer feels alive and warm. This is not one of them. And that doesn't make this season wasted. You are learning how to sit with me without emotional reward. Without reassurance. Without signs that make sense to you. That kind of closeness is quiet and uncomfortable. It doesn't feel spiritual. It feels like sitting in the dark with someone you're not sure will speak. But you stay anyway. That matters more than you know. You keep thinking faith should make you calmer by now. That trusting me should erase the anxiety, the restlessness, the constant low-level fear humming in your chest. Sometimes trust doesn't calm you. Sometimes it confronts you. It brings you face to face with how much you want certainty. How badly you want guarantees. How deeply you fear being forgotten. My child, I am not offended by that fear. I know where it comes from. I know the moments that taught you to expect disappointment. I know the prayers you prayed before this one that seemed to end in silence too. You didn't imagine those hurts. You didn't exaggerate them. But you are letting those moments define the future before it arrives. I am not asking you to stop feeling afraid. I am asking you to stop walking away from me because of it. You wonder if you should pray less since it feels like nothing happens anyway. But notice this. Even in your frustration, you still talk to me. That is not habit. That is relationship. You don't speak to someone you've truly given up on. And even when your prayers sound more like complaints than faith, I don't turn away. I don't correct your tone. I don't demand better words. I listen. There are answers forming that you cannot hear yet because they are not meant to rush you. They are meant to steady you. If I gave you everything you're asking for right now, it might quiet your fear, but it wouldn't heal it. It would just teach it to hide until the next crisis. I am working deeper than your comfort. Slower than your impatience. Closer than your doubts allow you to feel. And I know that doesn't make tonight easier. I know you still wish something would change, inside you or around you, so you could rest. Rest will come. Not as a sudden solution. But as a gradual loosening of the grip you have on what you cannot control. You don't have to force that process. You don't have to understand it. Just don't disappear from me in the middle of it. Stay. Even when prayer feels dry. Even when hope feels thin. Even when all you can offer is honesty instead of belief. I am still here. And I am still speaking. Even when the sound of my voice doesn't come the way you expect. This is not the end of what I'm saying to you. And I know you're listening now in a different way. Not looking for answers as much as trying to feel whether I am still near. God. I don't feel strong. I don't feel patient. I feel like I'm barely holding myself together some days. If you're here, I don't know how to feel it without something changing. Soft silence. I won't ask you to feel strong. Strength is not what you need right now. Presence is. You've been measuring my nearness by how much your situation shifts. By whether your emotions settle. By whether the fear backs away. But nearness doesn't always register as relief. Sometimes it registers as endurance. Sometimes it feels like the quiet decision not to quit today. You keep waiting for a feeling that confirms I'm with you. But feelings rise and fall with your energy, your sleep, your stress. They are not reliable witnesses. I am closer than your ability to sense me. You are exhausted because you keep trying to arrive somewhere. A version of yourself that isn't tired. A life that finally feels settled. A faith that doesn't ask so many questions. But you are living in between. And in between places feel unstable. You worry that staying here too long will change you in ways you don't want. That the waiting will harden you. That the silence will make you numb. That fear makes sense. Because you have seen waiting break people before. But you are not being shaped by silence alone. You are being shaped by how you stay present in it. You haven't shut down. You haven't stopped caring. You haven't turned your heart to stone. You still come to me. Even when your voice shakes. Even when you expect nothing. That tells me more about you than any confident prayer ever could. My child, you are not failing because you feel this way. You are not disappointing me by struggling to trust. I know how heavy your days feel. I know how long the nights stretch when your thoughts won't rest. I know the quiet fear that maybe this is just how life will always feel. I am not rushing past that fear. I am not correcting it with platitudes. I am staying with you inside it. There are things growing in you right now that do not announce themselves. They don't feel like hope. They don't feel like progress. They feel like survival. You are learning how to live without guarantees. How to keep your heart open without proof. How to remain honest instead of pretending everything is okay. That honesty is not pushing me away. It is drawing you closer to who you actually are. You don't need to become someone else for me to work in your life. You don't need a breakthrough personality. You don't need louder faith. You need permission to be where you are without believing you've been abandoned there. You ask what to do next. But tonight isn't about doing. It's about staying. Staying in the conversation. Staying open enough to speak again tomorrow, even if it's the same prayer. Staying connected instead of withdrawing to protect yourself. You think withdrawing will hurt less. But isolation always costs more than it promises. I am not asking you to push through this alone. And I am not asking you to resolve it before you rest. You can sleep without answers. You can pause without clarity. You can breathe without certainty. I am not keeping score of your faith. I am not watching to see if you say the right thing next. I am attentive to your heart as it is. And even if nothing changes immediately, even if tomorrow looks a lot like today, this time has not been empty. You have not been forgotten in the quiet. You have not been ignored in the waiting. I am still holding the parts of you that feel unseen. Still listening to the prayers you don't finish. Still present in the spaces where words run out. You don't need to resolve this tonight. You don't need to feel hopeful before you sleep. Just know this. The silence you are afraid of is not the absence of my care. It is the space where I am staying close without forcing you forward. And when you're ready to speak again, whether with trust or doubt, whether with hope or exhaustion, I will still be here.